They found the tunnel entrance on the mountain's eastern face, where a geological survey scan had indicated a density anomaly consistent with an artificial opening. It was, indeed, an artificial opening, a wide, arched entrance cut into the rock with precision that matched no natural formation, the interior running deep into the mountain with a faint ambient light that came from the walls themselves. Bioluminescent something, Six's scanner suggested. Or the compound, distributed through the rock, producing light as a byproduct of its energy transfer properties. They went in. The tunnel network was, as the surface scans had suggested, vast. The main passage ran straight for several hundred meters before branching, and each branch ran to further branches, and the scale of the excavation became apparent in the way that underground spaces revealed their size, slowly, through the accumulating evidence of how long you'd been walking and how many turnings you'd taken. Ham marked their route on a handheld survey device. Six's internal navigation managed it without tools. "How old is this?" Ham asked, running his hand along the tunnel wall. The rock was smooth, not naturally smooth, but worked smooth, though not by any cutting tool he recognized. More like it had been encouraged to be smooth. The geological deposit patterns suggest the excavation has been underway for at minimum several centuries, Six said. Centuries, Ham said. The Unary initiative has been around for what, 50 years? Less, Six said. So whoever dug this did not start with the Unary. No. And the automated extraction complex has been running for. The mechanical signature suggests extended continuous operation, Six said. Decades at minimum, possibly longer. Ham was quiet for a moment. The tunnel branched ahead of them, and he marked the junction on his survey device. Something has been here for centuries, he said. Building tunnels, extracting a compound nobody's registered, using automated systems sophisticated enough to run unsupervised for decades. And the only people who knew about it were using encryption technology built on modified Lathium methodology. Yes, Six said. And the weapons that destroyed the Sever were built from this compound, Ham said. Or something like it. Novel energy transfer properties, wave discharge. That is a hypothesis, Six said. Not yet confirmed. It's a bloody good hypothesis, Ham said. Yes, Six agreed. It is a bloody good hypothesis. Ham looked at him. I have been integrating your idiomatic usage, Six said, without inflection. Do not tell Three I taught you to swear, Ham said. I will note it as expanded vocabulary acquisition, Six said. That's worse, Ham said. That sounds like it goes on a report somewhere. They found the extraction complex 2 hours later, or rather, they found the edge of it, which was enough. The tunnel opened into a space large enough to qualify as a cavern that had clearly been enlarged by the same process that had smoothed the tunnel walls, and in it, operating with the steady, patient efficiency of machinery that had been given a job and been doing it without supervision for a very long time, was the extraction structure. It was not Lathian. It was not any technology Ham recognized or that Six could categorize. It was, and this was the word Ham returned to and kept purposeful. Every element served a clear function: extraction, processing, storage. The mechanisms were precise and economical and completely, thoroughly unlike anything either of them had encountered before. The compound moved through it in a continuous flow, the black, luminescent mineral being drawn from the rock, processed through stages Ham couldn't follow entirely, and directed into storage configurations that lined the cavern walls. The scale of the operation was staggering, the volume of stored material alone. Six, Ham said quietly, how much of this is there? Six ran a scan. He looked at the result for a moment. The stored volume in this cavern alone, he said, would power a Lathian weave-class operation for approximately 200 years. Ham stared at the storage walls. We need a sample, Ham said, and then we need to leave. Agreed, Six said. He moved toward the nearest storage unit. Scanner extended, and had approximately 40 seconds to collect data before the Sentinel registered them. It came from a recess in the cavern wall, not the only one, as Ham immediately noted, because three others were emerging from three other recesses simultaneously. They were not biological. They were not recognizably mechanical in any framework Ham had. They moved with an efficiency that was worse than a threat because it was entirely impersonal, not aggressive, just purposeful. They were managing a perimeter. Ham and Six were inside the perimeter. Run, Six said. Ham ran. The Sentinels were fast. Not faster than Six at full function, but Six was at 70%, and Ham's legs had already done significant work today, and the tunnel back to the entrance was a long way, and the Sentinels knew the tunnels in a way that Ham and Six, checking the survey device between strides, did not. Left, Six said. That's not the way we. Left, Six said, and Ham went left, and they came out of a branch tunnel into a section that Ham hadn't mapped and which Six apparently knew from some internal resource, and the Sentinels were behind them now, but not far enough behind them for Ham to feel comfortable. Six, Ham said between breaths, remember the evil plant. The bioelectric. The Sentinels are running on the same technology as this whole complex, right? Same power source. Same systems. Six was quiet for 2 strides. The compound's energy transfer coefficient. Fried your lattice thing, Ham said. And you're made of biology. They're made of the compound's own technology, if the plant works on you. The discharge would interact with the compound-based systems, Six said. The polarity. Yes or no, Ham said. Would it work? Probably, Six said. That's good enough for me, Ham said. How far to the tunnel entrance? 400 meters. The evil plant is outside, on the slope, near the entrance. Yes. Then we're going to run faster, Ham said. Because I need us outside, before these things catch up. They came out of the tunnel mouth with the Sentinels approximately 30 meters behind them, which was closer than Ham would have liked and further than he'd feared, and they hit the slope at a dead run with the amber forest around them, and the blue-violet ground cover everywhere underfoot, and Ham said, don't touch the ground cover to Six and Six, to his credit, didn't, while Ham, with the specific decisiveness of someone who had made a plan and was committed to it, grabbed a cluster of the blue-violet plant with both hands. It discharged. It hurt. Ham had expected it to hurt, and it still hurt more than expected, the charge going up his arms and into his chest and doing something to his teeth that he did not enjoy. He held on. He turned. He threw the plant cluster at the lead Sentinel as it came through the tunnel entrance. The discharge hit the Sentinel's frame. Something happened to the Sentinel that was the mechanical equivalent of what had happened to Six, a rapid, arrhythmic disruption, systems firing and misfiring simultaneously. The Sentinel stopped. It didn't fall. It stopped, twitching, its purposeful efficiency interrupted by an electrical argument with itself. The other 3 Sentinels stopped behind it, assessing. Move, Six said, and grabbed Ham's arm, and they moved. The shuttle was in the clearing. Six interfaced with the node remotely from 80 meters out, and it was already powered when they reached it. They were in and airborne in 30 seconds. Ham sat in his crew space and breathed for a moment, while the surface of the planet fell away below them. My hands, he said. The bioelectric discharge from direct contact is temporary, Six said. The residual effect will resolve within. I know, Ham said. I'm not complaining, I'm just noting. Noted. Ham looked at his hands, slightly numb, tingling, the specific feeling of too much electricity having passed through them. He looked at Six, who was flying the shuttle with complete composure and whose lattice organ was back to its normal faint luminescence. "We got the sample," Ham said. "I have the scan data," Six said, and a small physical sample from the tunnel wall collected before the Sentinels emerged. "Good," Ham said. "That's good." He settled back. The ship's adaptive surface shifted to accommodate his current posture, which he was grateful for because his back had very strong feelings. "We should probably tell people about this." "I have already transmitted a preliminary report to 3, Six said. "And Maddox," Ham said. "The Cashin should have completed its refit," Six said. "Captain Maddox's estimated return to active mission status is—" "I'll tell him myself," Ham said, "in detail, and I'm going to start by explaining that none of this is my fault." The Cashin was back at Earth Station Vance when Ham's transmission arrived, newly upgraded and newly crewed with the specific energy of a ship that had been worked on and was aware of it. Maddox read Ham's preliminary report in the Cashin's briefing room with Yara, Sable, and Voss, who had remained aboard during the refit and had spent the 14 days filing reports and increasingly having conversations with the crew that Maddox was told about afterward, and which seemed to have shifted something in the man's general disposition toward functional warmth. He read the report twice. He looked at Yara. Yara looked at Maddox. Ham found an active automated extraction complex on an unregistered planet, Maddox said, extracting a compound with novel energy transfer properties. The complex has been running for decades. The tunnels it's in have been there for centuries. The compound may be the source of the weapons technology used to destroy the Sever. And the Sentinels guarding the complex are running on technology that nobody recognizes. "Yes," Yara said. "And Ham neutralized them with a plant," Maddox said. "Also, yes. Well, technically temporarily neutralized them," Yara said. Maddox sat with this for a moment. "Voss," he said. Voss looked up from the report. He had the expression of a man whose assessment framework was undergoing a significant revision. "The Meridian needs this data," he said, "and the Lathian research vessel, whatever the equivalent is that they're sending to Corridor 9. The compound sample, the tunnel mapping, the Sentinel technology, all of it." "And what about ISV Command?" "I'm filing the report now," Voss said, "under my own authority as Senior Oversight Officer." He paused. "It will note that the discovery was made during an unsanctioned reconnaissance mission conducted without ISV Command authorization, that the operational decision was made by a Lathian Strand member and a human engineer working in an unstructured joint context, and that the result was significantly more important than any sanctioned mission I am aware of this year." Maddox looked at him. "That last part might cause you problems." "Yes," Voss said, "it probably will." He looked at his tablet. "I have been writing accurate reports for 22 years, he said. "I find the habit difficult to break." "Good," Maddox said. He looked at the Cashin's new weapons loadout on the maintenance display. He looked at the drive upgrade specifications. He looked at Ham's report, which ended with the sentence, "Six says the compound sample is going to be very important, and Six does not overstate things, so I'd take that seriously. Also, my hands still feel weird." "Set course for the Corridor 9 boundary," Maddox said. "I want to know what the Meridian and the Lathian research vessel have found, and I want to pick up Ham on the way." "Ham is still at Lattice Hold Kethvorath," Yara said. "I know," Maddox said. "We'll collect him in person. I have a feeling the Hold's logistics department will be relieved." From the communications console, a message was already queued. "Ham, transmitted 2 hours ago. Coming home. Six is keeping the T methodology. I have feelings about this, but I'm too tired to have them right now. Also, none of this is my fault. It's Wren's, chronologically." Maddox read it. He read it again. He smiled at the ceiling in the specific way that he smiled when something was both deeply absurd and exactly right. Let's go get him, he said. Personal log, Captain R. Maddox. ISV Cashin. Corridor approach, outbound from Earth Station Vance. The Cashin is different now. The drive feels different under my feet, more certain, if that makes sense for a ship. The weapons loadout I'm not going to describe in detail because the log has an external review process, and I'd rather that conversation happen in person. What I'll say is, the program is taking the corridor seriously. Finally. The Knot Nebula is gone, mostly. The Meridian's last report says it collapsed, lost integrity, went unstable, dissipated. What's left is a post-degradation component field that they're trying to analyze. We don't know what that means yet. We don't know if it means anything. I'm choosing not to assume it's good news until someone tells me it's good news. Ham found a centuries-old automated extraction complex on an unregistered paradise planet, got himself and 6 chased by mechanical sentinels, neutralized said sentinels with an electrified alien plant, and came back with a sample of a compound that 6 is already calling extraordinary. 6 does not use that word. I am taking it very seriously. Something built those tunnels. Something has been extracting that compound for centuries. Something built the weapons that destroyed the Sever from whatever that compound enables. And that something has not shown up on any screen, any registry, any scan, except as a ship nobody recognized, in a corridor nobody was watching, doing things that don't match any framework we have. 3's revision request to the directive is still pending. The Antares moon still has 41 years. Ashav Vrel is still underground on Antara. The Solani resistance cell is still operating from a maintenance substation in Vale. We have a lot of things to figure out. But we have a new ship and a compound sample, and Ham's questionable but effective field methodology. And I think my father, who never made it to space, but made sure I did, would say that's enough to go on with. Maddox.